I'm Carol Ann Cross, and my co-host is...
I'm Gabby Forrester.
And we're delighted to bring you the second in our series of shows about the elementals. And so today we're going to be talking about the earth elementals. And so the earth elementals belong to the earth element. You can get a bit confused when you say those sorts of things. But the thing that we need to remember is that the element of earth represents our physical body, which is made up of the same minerals and chemicals that are found throughout the planet. And our sense of smell brings us closer to the elements of the earth, elementals of the earth. And when you stop and think about it, it just is amazing, isn't it, Gabby, that a simple statement like that is just so amazing how we can relate to it.
It's very powerful.
It is. So the earth elementals are the gnomes and the fairies and the elves, pixies, crystal beings and the stone beings. And I used to love having stories read to me about the fairies and the gnomes. And I'm just amazed how those stories from long ago and from childhood are now coming to the fore, because it might have been looked on as a story then, but it was a way of telling a history of our lives and where we've evolved from. So, no, I think that's a really amazing place for us to start this morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the earth elements are, they sustain us. They sustain the earth. So it's because of them that we live and we breathe and we drink and we eat. So recognition where it's due, and it's that they really need our help to connect, don't they? They need our energies at the moment.
Yep. They need us to work in a partnership is what they need, because they maintain the physical structure of the earth and they help us to tune into the earth's energy. And it's really wonderful when we do choose to tune into that energy, because it helps us to maintain our physical bodies and to become aware of our physical senses. And the really interesting part too is that the gnomes look after wounded animals. And so, it is just, they do a massive job, and they process the waste and the byproducts of our daily life. And so that's really important too, because, you might think, it's just going down the pipes or into the sewer or something like that. But then it has to be processed and it has to be dealt with in a way that is conducive to our way of life.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And they also help to, on a spiritual level, because they help to clean up the negativity and the discord that is around at a spiritual level. And let's be quite honest, it's amazing at this time, the negativity and the unhappiness that is all around. And so, it's really up to us to change that. We don't need to get caught up in the negativity and the drama. But then the lovely thing about it is that the gnomes and the fairies and everybody is working to help get rid of that negativity. But if we don't put so much negativity out there, then it doesn't make their job so hard, does it?
No, it doesn't. They're very good for grounding too, like for pulling us down and grounding the gnomes.
Yeah.
And the gnomes love to go about their business undisturbed. They're not particularly fond of us humans, probably because they have to clean up all our mess. But once you make a connection, once you make an effort to make a connection to them, for grounding, they're wonderful. And because they're very dense, like us and like the earth, a dense energy. So we're very compatible. So
yeah, we are. And the other interesting thing about the gnomes is, and from a spiritual sense, they're the guardians of the sacred sites throughout the world. And so
Yes.
that's very important that we work with them on that. You know, in Australia, we have Uluru, which is a sacred site, and the gnomes help to look after that on their level, on the earth level. And the other thing that they look after is the ley lines. The ley lines carry the energy all through the world, all through the planet. And so the gnomes work very hard to help keep the energy flowing within the ley lines, because the ley lines are so important for every single thing that we do, even if we don't realize just how much they actually do. And the gnomes are working underground, but then the fairies are the ones who are working on the ground level. And the fairies, we may not be aware that we see a fairy, but every flower, every plant has got a fairy attached to it.
Yeah.
And that's why when you're out working sometimes in the garden or just walking through, you might see this little flash of colour or brightness, a little something. And that's the fairies just letting you know they're there. And another important thing about the fairies is that if you have picked some flowers to put in a vase in your home, there'll be a fairy in those flowers as well, and it'll brighten up your home for as long as the flowers are there. And then when you take the flowers out to dispose of them, and hopefully if you do that, you'll put them into a recycling area, you know, in your garden or something like that, and then the fairies can go on to the next lot of flowers that they can work with.
I always use the petals when flowers are getting a little bit old, because I love having fresh flowers inside.
Mm-hmm.
I think it brings a little bit of outside inside. And when they're starting to not be very good anymore, I will pull the petals off and use them in my bath.
Yeah, that's
recycling.
Recycling. And you know, the other thing too is that the fairies work from a place of love, and they're bringing love and brightness and happiness into our lives. And the fact that you can put them into your bath like that, then, you know, that's bringing that also into your energy, which is really, really amazing. And the fairies also have amazing manifestation skills. And they also work with the moon energy. And of course, we've got a full moon coming up on Halloween, which is going to be really, really amazing. And so, you know, I think it's going to be lovely to be able to go outside and to connect with all of the elementals, as well as the angels and with our spirit guides, because they're all there working together. You know, they're one big tribe, and we are so blessed because they're all working with us and for us, as well as this is when we then need to work with them to help sustain our beautiful planet.
Absolutely. And the elementals too, Carol, they're kind of like a bridge for us to connect with the 5D. You know, you can't, if you're wanting to raise your vibration and all the rest of it, you know, you've got to take in everything, and they're a great way. Connect with them, and, you know, so many things open up for you.
Yes. And this is really important at this time, that we're all thinking about the 5D energy, because this is where we're all heading for. And so, you know, when we can work with all of the elementals to help both us and them, and most importantly the planet, then that's what it's all about. And so, you know, the fairies, one of their other really beautiful things is that when we work with the fairies, they're here to heal our hearts and to teach us how to love in every kind of situation, no matter what the situation is, but in every kind of situation, they're here to help us.
Yeah.
And then we have the elves. So the elves are a little bit more secretive than the gnomes and the fairies. And they're the ones who guard the trees. And they're like the fairy realm, but they're in a different sort of level of consciousness. So we're less likely to be aware of an elf than we are of a gnome. And the elementals, the elves, tend to the roots of the trees and the plants. So their job is really to work with the ecosystem, the soil's ecosystem on the planet. And they love the rain because it's the best thing to energetically purify the undergrowth, of which they're the guardians. And the elves also connect to us through the heart chakra. And they're the keepers of ancient, secret, magical knowledge. And they're willing to impart that knowledge to all of us if we are ready to assist them with their work. And, that doesn't mean that, we have to do anything drastic. It's just accepting them and being in their energy, acknowledging them. And then, they're happy to work with us.
Absolutely. That's it. And something just popped into my head when you were saying, they love for the rain to come down for its cleansing. Well, it's a combination. Then it's a joining of the elements, isn't it? It's water and earth. So when we work together, that's when beautiful things happen. And it happens on a minute level and on a much grander level.
Yeah.
But that's the key, isn't it? Working together and looking out for each other and relying on each other.
Yeah.
And they're showing us that.
Yeah. Yeah. We just need to step into a place of love and trust and just let go of all of those hang-ups that you might have had years ago, because people might have said, oh, fairies, you're dreaming, and elves and gnomes, you're dreaming. But we're not dreaming. And when you allow yourself to just step into that place, it's just magnificent. And Mother Earth is really, truly seeking our support at this time. So, we can do so many things to help Mother Earth. We can work with recycling, and we can work with not polluting as much. And all of these things are going to help the planet, and it's going to make it easier for the elementals to do their share of the job. But we need to also work with them, because they can't, well, they probably can sustain the planet on their own, but that's then not working with us and not allowing us to step into their beautiful energy. And let's face it, this is a beautiful planet we live on, and we're very blessed to be here. And so, anything that we can do to help them at this time. And the other thing, the other way we're helping ourselves is it's helping our inner child. And let's face it, we all have this inner child who is full of innocence and loving and sharing. And I don't know about you, Gabby, but sometimes, I get my inner child out to play. It's like you see a puddle of water, and of course that's the water elementals. And, you want to go and jump in the water. And we did these things as a child.
I still do jump in the water.
That's good. I do too, and I love it.
There's no apologies for that.
No, and I do too, and I love it. You can go and stand out there in the rain, and you can just feel the energy, the beautiful energy that's coming down from the divine, and it's just watering our beautiful planet. And we've been in drought here, and the last 3 days we've had massive rain, and it's been so beautiful to be there. And the magpies have been flying out, and then they come in, they're all wet, so they sit on the railing on our patio and they fluffer up their feathers to let them dry. And you just think, when we allow ourselves, because as we grow up, some of us put constraints around ourselves and not let ourselves go back to that childlike space.
100%.
We don't have to be that serious. Just because there's serious stuff happening out there in the world, we don't have to step into that serious stuff. What we can be doing is sending up light and love and healing and energy to lift the life force energy that's all around. And as we lift that life force energy, then it makes it so much better for everybody.
Yeah, it does. And for yourself, bringing your inner child into it, like, let's face it, a lot of our shadow work comes from being young, doesn't it? So that a lot of things we have to deal with later in life. So if you can do the shadow work with your inner child and bring your inner child along on, I call it my child because I treat it like her like my child. If you can bring them along on this, the repair and healing is astronomical. I know now when I do anything, there's 3 of us. There's my higher self, myself, and my inner child, and we all go together anywhere.
Yeah. And this is it. This is a part of who you are. And we have all of these different auras and parts of us. We're not just a human body. We are this beautiful, beautiful soul who is using this human body as its vehicle in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And to be here at this time, because this is a very important time in Mother Earth's ascension. She's ascending just the same as we're all ascending.
Yeah.
And so for us to be here, we are just so lucky and so blessed. And so my thought is, and I'm sure yours is as well, Gabby, and I'd love to get this out to everybody, the more that we can do at this time to support the planet, to support the elementals, to support every single soul who is here at this time, then I believe that that's what we're here for. We're here to lift the energies, to share the love, and to share all that people want to know. Because, if they want to know, then they will accept this. And because they'll be ready for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And things are changing, Carol Ann. Things are changing, and it's time to, quite honestly, it's time to get with the program.
Yep, exactly.
And like helping guide, like little things, like still the amount of people when I'm driving around that I see drop rubbish out the window of their car, keep it in the car until you get home and walk past the bin and drop it in the bin. Don't throw your cigarette butt out the window. Keep a little jar in your car or something. And I've started throwing grain out onto my driveway. I don't have a concrete driveway, it's gravel, so excrement doesn't matter. But now in the afternoons and in the mornings, I have at least 20 pink and grey galahs, all the pigeons, the magpies. I've got a crow that's moved in. He's got a broken wing and he's found somewhere safe now. And like, it's my joy, to be able to look out and watch them, and they're so funny, and it's just a blessing. And even watching a little bird is beautiful. It's a beautiful, if you really sit and be quiet and watch it, and that's one little bird, you take in the rest of what is around us, and it's quite mind-blowing.
It is. And as you're watching that little bird, that love, energy, and awareness and awesomeness is all going out into your aura, and then it's rippling out through the whole of the world.
Absolutely.
Because all of our thoughts and all of our actions, they don't just stop here with us. They ripple out everywhere. And so this is one of the things that we need to be mindful of.
Stop for a moment and send a healing prayer to the skies, just a healing thought. Just little things here and there during your day make the world of difference. I meant to say, if anybody has it, we've been so busy chatting, if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to ask.
Yeah, just put them in the comments section. We have Restream chat going, so we'll be able to see them. And if you watch it on the replay and you have some questions, you can put it in the general comments and we will come along and we will look at all of those comments. And
hopefully technology will be kind to me this week. So
One.
my big thing, Carol, is, and we've already talked about this, is I'm very big on bringing out the lesser known elementals. And so I'm going to bring Pan into the earth elementals today, because I've had them smacking me in the back of the head since yesterday saying mention us. So they were originally called goards, and they are like the torso of a man, as you see in the movies. You know, it's when you liken things to movies, people don't take them as seriously, but torso of a man, legs and bottom of a goat, and they are like the security for the earth elementals, the gnomes, the fairies, the pixies, the elves, everybody else. And they, in researching them, once they smacked me in the back of the head, I actually came across a channeled message from Pan to us. So I would just like to, it's quite long. So they are the intermediaries between the world on earth and the higher realms. The purpose of the Goharts is to combine the two races of animals and man. Pan is particularly keen on helping us at this time to work with the elemental realm and to have a closer connection with nature. So the channeled message from him is quite long, but I'll read some of it. I am Pan. I have come today with a message for your fellow elemental clan. I am the Greek god of nature, and it is my role, along with other environmental deities, to oversee the environmental systems occurring on planet Earth. For as the planet's consciousness elevates, that of the elemental realm elevates too, which is what we were just speaking about. More and more of you humans will start to see, feel, hear, and be aware of the nature guardians around you now. For just as human civilization is ridding itself of its collective fear, the elemental realm, that of the fairies, mermaids, unicorns, sprites, undines, gnomes, and the many more, are releasing their collective fear of human society. Just as the human race has had to go through a period of readjustment with regard to financial systems crashing, your companies going into receivership, and your political system being purified, the elementals too have had to face up to the attitudes in their realm that no longer serve them. They are now extending out the hand of friendship for those humans who wish to take it. All they ask is that you believe deep within your heart that they are there, even if you are still unaware. Know that they are there. For the nature angels, as they are sometimes known, are wanting to work in harmony now with the human realm. They understand that not all humans are bad, and in fact, most humans are willing to help heal the environment, animal kingdom, and planet Earth. There was a little bit more lower along. So it's time, you know, the time has come to acknowledge more the existence of the elemental realm. Fairies are the most famous group, but the Sylphs have the greatest plight. No more can they control the wind and the weather patterns, as is their job. These volatile gases, which are often man-made, occur in too great quantities now, and their unchecked effects spiral out of control. I urge you humans to take action now, help the plight of the Sylphs and the other elementals, for no one group is affected solely. So it goes on and on with lots of words of wisdom, and I'll post it, the whole thing, because it's really heartfelt and really explains how we need to start working together now.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing that, Gabby. So, you know, that's just a wonderful explanation and a message from Pan and his team. So yeah, it just goes to show how everything works together, you know, and this is it. We need to do our part now.
We're not pulling our weight.
We're not pulling our weight, and
No.
we need to change that. No,
Yeah.
you just think about people go out fishing and things, and they throw all of this rubbish into the water and pollute the water, which makes it then very difficult for the whales. So pollution in all streams and areas, even though we're talking about the pollution of Earth today, it's there for all to see. So just another couple of the earth elementals, there's the pixies. Now the pixies, they sort of was something that to me, a pixie was a childhood dream, all pixies. And, you know, that's really interesting because some of them do work with magic and some of them work with animals and some with plants. So their impact is really huge in the elemental kingdom. And really the part that I liked when I was reading this was the fact that the pixies are the children of the forest and they embody the inner child, which is, you know, what we've been talking about. And, you know, you may be lucky enough to see them, but it doesn't matter if you don't see them. It's like with the fairies and the gnomes. Talk to them when you're out in the garden. You know, it really doesn't matter. We talk to our angels and our guides and everybody, and it's the same with the elemental, because they're absolutely incapable of doing any harm, and they're just like innocent little children. And I thought that was a beautiful description of the pixies, you know, when I saw that. And then,
you know, when when you're standing out somewhere and you feel something tickle your leg or your foot, and you kind of think, oh, you know, like, and you look down and there'll be a piece of grass there or something. That's the pixies tickling you.
It is, and you know that's the exciting part, because that's when then you can say, oh, thank you, I know you're there, and that then starts up a relationship. You know, they know you're aware of them, and that sets up a communication line with them. So, and it's another thing that there's so many fascinating earth elementals, and it's crystals. Crystal beings are earth elementals, and you know, there's the crystals are deep within the earth's crust, and they give out amazing energetic vibrations. And that what that does is it helps to transmute negative energy, and it clears blockages around the human body and our auric field. And we all know, people who have crystals, we all know that, you know, we have a crystal and we'll have a certain kind of crystal. It might be a rose quartz, or it could be any kind of crystal. And we all know that they have a role to play, and we all use them. And what I find interesting about crystals is, you know, you might go into a crystal shop and think, I'm going to go and buy a crystal today. And that crystal that you're meant to buy talks to you. That crystal tells you, I'm the one you need to pick up. And when you hold it in your hand and it vibrates with love for you and for letting you know that this is the crystal that I'm coming home with you today because you need me to help you and to help you get through the rest of your life. And, you know, I think that's one of the magical things about crystals. And another one is the stone beings, because stones, you know, stones and rocks have a beautiful strength and an energy. And, you know, we're going to get a message from one in the meditation we're going to do shortly. And, you know, I just think it's wonderful when you go out and you just can put your hand on a stone and the stone will give you a message. You know, it's just really amazing. Everything, every single thing on this planet, whether it is man-made or whether it is natural, has an energy, and you can talk to it. It will give you a message. And I can remember the first time that I did this. I was at a workshop and we were told to go and choose something in the room and put our hand on it and see what it said to us. So I thought, I'll go on. There was this really, really old vase, which was beautiful, but it had these dusty, dirty-looking plastic flowers in it. So I went and I put my hand on the bars, and within seconds it spoke to me, and it said, "We are the guardians of the door." And I said, "But are you happy? We love it because every person who comes into this room has to walk past us. And so we're the guardians, and we know who should be here and who shouldn't." And I thought to myself, wow, I would never have thought that this particular plastic flowers, dusty plastic flowers in an old vase, would have such strength. And, everybody, go out and challenge yourself. If you've got a wooden desk, put your hand on it, your table, your chair, your stones in the garden. They all will talk to you, or they will share their energy with you if that's what you need. And that to me is just awesome.
It is. It is.
All right. Well, do you want to do the meditation now?
We'll do the meditation now, and then just after that, I'll just read the last paragraph of the message because it's quite a nice finishing.
Yeah.
Quite a nice finish.
So what I'd like to say to everyone, as you can see, this is why we call our show Elemental Conversations, because we have a conversation. We're having a conversation with one another, and we're having a conversation with you. And I just hope you're enjoying our conversation.
Yes.
So I'm going to take you on a meditation now that was channeled to me the other night, ready for today. They're really quite the elementals, I must say, are so excited to be able to be acknowledged in this way, the way that we're doing it at the moment. And they've already given me the meditation for the next show, which is not for 2 weeks. But, they were so excited they wanted to do the meditation in the middle of the night, I must say, last night. But, that's just wonderful. And it shows their enthusiasm for wanting to work with us. And the fact that they're recognizing that we are wanting to help them as they work to sustain our beautiful planet.
Yeah.
So I want you just to sort of close your eyes. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I always find meditation's better for me if I close my eyes. And take several long, slow, deep breaths. Breathing in the light and the love. And breathing out any stress or worry that you may have. Just let it go. You don't need it at this time. Just gently breathe in and out. We find ourselves in a beautiful tree-lined meadow. The life force energy that is surrounding us is powerful and loving. We feel safe. We feel secure. And as we look down at our feet, we're aware that we have a gnome on each side. Up above us, the fairies are flying all around. They're excited and they're happy to be here with us. The meadow is so beautiful, and we can smell the exquisite perfume of the flowers. As we start to walk alongside the gnomes, we suddenly become aware that we're now the same size as the gnomes. They're excited, and they lead us to a beautiful grove. We find ourselves in front of an ancient, wise tree. The roots are all above the ground as well as in the ground. And as we walk across to the base of the tree, we suddenly find ourselves sliding down a magical rabbit hole. Down, down, down. This is such fun. It's just like a slippery slide. And the three of us are sliding down together, holding hands. Down, down, down. We can smell the earth. It is beautiful. It is sweet. It is fresh. And we land inside a huge and beautiful cabin. The gnomes tell us that this is their home. And they want us to have a good look around. It's so happy here. It's so bright. It's cheery. The families are all there, welcoming us to their home. And we look across at one of the walls of the cabin, and we can see the roots of the ancient tree is forming a part of the wall. How beautiful is this? To be able to see the structure of the system of the roots as they go through the earth. The energy here is beautiful. They have flowers, they have gardens, and they have beautiful, beautiful plants decorating their home. As we continue to explore, we become aware of a sound. Thump, thump, thump. Our gnomes tell us, don't worry, that is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. She is letting you know that she is aware of your presence here. And she is very pleased that you have come to recognize and acknowledge the work that the gnomes, the fairies and the elves do for this beautiful planet, for her. As you feel the vibration of her heartbeat, you realize that the rhythm of her heart is the same as yours. They are connected. They are beating together. And this helps you to realize how connected we really are to Mother Earth. You look across to a wall on the other side, and it is completely made of crystal. It is beautiful. There is a table in front of the wall with a crystal sitting on the table. And you know that this crystal is a gift for you. You go over and pick it up, sit down on a chair, holding the crystal in your hand. You know that you are holding a crystal being, and they have a message for you. So just listen and wait to receive your message. You thank the crystal for your message, and you place the crystal in your pot. And as you look around once more, you can see the little children playing and having fun. After all, this is their home, and this is why we need to look after and sustain our beautiful planet. Mother Earth and the elements love us very much, so it's up to us to love them in return. The fairies come to tell us that it's time to start our return. And as we start walking back towards the rabbit hole entrance, we are aware of the energy of a huge stone that is sitting across to the side. Place one hand on the stone. Feel its strength. Feel its warmth. Feel its love. And it reminds you that you have all of this within you. You have the strength. You have the warmth. You have the love. And sometimes we forget that we are all of these things. You thank the stone and you head back towards the rabbit hole, wondering, how am I going to climb back up that slippery slide? But you have the gnomes and the fairies to assist you. And really, it's not that steep after all. So you pop back out into the warmth of the sun, back standing by the ancient tree. You're aware of the other trees and the flowers. You can hear the birds in the trees, and the leaves are rustling in the breeze. You thank the gnomes and the fairies for your journey today. And they reply, "It was our pleasure. Please share the message that we are here to sustain and support this beautiful planet and all those who are living in this human lifetime." And as the fairies continue to fly around you, you realize that you are back to your normal size. And you also realize that you can come back to this place at any time you wish. So begin to come back to the here and the now, back to where you started. And as you move back into your body, just give it a little wriggle. Gently wriggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Well, I was lucky enough to have a rose quartz right next to me, so I grabbed it. You know what was really funny? Before we saw the crystal, and you said to ground yourself. So I was standing there watching, and I had the whole gnome tribe behind me and my two little fellows next to me. And I love grounding. I love, like, actually, I go out I find the biggest patch of dirt I can and lay in it. And so when you said, like, we could ground, I just kind of fell back and went, like this. And it was like a stadium wave. They all went, and they all fell back with me. And I had to have a giggle.
Awesome is that?
Yeah.
This is it. How amazing How amazing when we allow ourselves to believe.
Yeah.
No, it's just this whole world is there for us and for the planet.
Yeah.
And, this is it with little children and adults. You can just let yourself enjoy this because it is so beautiful. It's serious at the same time because
It
we
is.
have to look after the planet. We have
Absolutely.
to work with the elementals. But it can be such a pleasure. It doesn't have to be a chore that we do. It can
No.
be something that we enjoy, if we enjoy doing, and we do in doing from a place of love. And that's, to me, is the most important thing, is to come from a place of love. And I like to think about, we can help children by letting them have a little plant or a little seedling or some seeds of their own, and put them in a pot plant or put them in the garden. And as they nurture that, just by watering it and looking after it, it helps them to grow a connection with Mother Earth and with the earth elements.
And, that's one of the things I fear at the moment. I see all these children on their phones missing out on what's going on around them. And one of my fears is them losing that connection. The only connection they have is to a screen. It's so important. And it's, there's a lot of serious work to be done at the moment. But I keep saying this, it's such a tingly, magical energy to be around and in, that it's just so beautiful.
It is, and this is about letting the children know what's here.
Yeah.
But the other thing, let's not put fear out there. Let's not say we're fearful of something happening, because it's like everything. We have to have a bit of everything in our lives. It's like we don't just work with the elementals. We work with the angels. We work with our tribe of spirit guides, and we work with our totem animals. And when we step into that place, and yes, a lot of children nowadays, that's the world they're living in, because in some ways this is the world that they will be working in. So I sort of, what I try to do at that stage is to surround them with love, and so we all have children who do those things, and some adults who do those things as well.
Quite a few adults. And it's also because of the pandemic, we've all been shut in houses, and time to introduce a connection and get outside and experience it a little bit more.
To realize how important it is to work with the planet.
Yes.
Because this is the only planet that we have. Yes, we can, our soul can incarnate in other planets, but this human life we're living now, this is the planet that we're living on. So we need to show our love and our respect for Mother Earth.
Yes.
And for everybody who's working. And when we see something that we don't necessarily agree with, it's about sending that situation love, and knowing that as we change, the people around us will change.
They do. So I just would like to read this last little bit from Pan. The light has entered, allowing the darkness to fall away. The planet is reclaiming her own and calling out to those on the spiritual waves to connect again with her plight. Help her elementals and devas, her plants, trees, seas, skies, and ores. We need now more than ever to raise the collective consciousness to the importance of connecting with spiritual beings to aid you on the earth at this time. Belief is key, yet souls who do not yet have the belief need treated gently, which is exactly what we were just talking about. They need compassion, guidance, and understanding, for it is only fear that blocks their understanding of Earth as a whole being, sentient and communicative. Everything is energy and everything is conscious. Lead the way, shine your light, and most of all, have compassion. Clear the fear through love. Surround any troubling situation with love and open your arms to allow the angelic beings of light to enter. That is all I have to say today. I am Pan.
That's beautiful. That's
So
really
exactly what we were just saying, being
beautiful.
backed by them.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And this is the message that I'm sure all of the elementals and everybody is giving us. And you know, we need to think about the fact that the elementals are nature's guardians. And, you know, just because they're in a different realm or dimension, whatever word you want to use, to the physical one we live in, it doesn't mean they're any less important. They're actually more important because they have been here since forever. And in this lifetime, you know, we've only been here for the amount of time in this lifetime. So, you know, it's really amazing when we stop and think about how blessed we really are and how much support we have from Mother Earth. And they've been doing this all this time, and we haven't always been able to acknowledge that because we haven't had the understanding.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's a different world now to the one we grew up in because, you know, we actually have so many opportunities. And that's one of the wonderful things I found with COVID. You know, it gave me a chance to discover Zoom and to do all of the things that we do on Zoom. And, you know, let's be honest, computers are made up of elements, etc., that are from the earth.
Yeah.
So everything comes from the earth. Everything we touch, everything we use, everything we eat comes from this beautiful planet, Mother Earth.
Yeah. It does.
So, yeah.
In a whole lot of trouble if we let her down.
Well, you know, this is it. And you know, let's just raise the life force energy that is here, that supports us and supports all of the elementals. And that, I think, is one of the things that we can do. It doesn't take much for us to send love out into there. So, you know, it's just really up to us.
And it makes for a beautiful existence for us.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Does.
Every day is beautiful, magical, wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you've got so many things you can call on to support you to get you through it.
Exactly. So our next show is going to be about the element of fire, and the elemental for fire is the salamander.
It is.
And that's going to be a very different show to today because they're all so different, even though they're all working with us. So that is going to be on Central. So let me just think. Central Time in America. So Eastern Time. Sorry, I get a bit confused with these times. So that will be on Tuesday, the 10th of November at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And in Australia, it will be on the 11th of November, which is a very important day in Australia, Remembrance Day. And that will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I think we might say goodbye to everybody, Gabby. So thank you, Gabby, for being here.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. I noticed that Amelia is doing some replies to people who haven't shown up on my chat. So I will reply to you.
I have had no chat either.
No. So we will reply to everybody at the end of the show. Yeah. So obviously it's picked up some people, but it hasn't picked up others. So we're really excited and looking forward to what you have to to say. So thank you for being here. We hope you
Thank
enjoy
you.
our next show. Thank you, Gabby. I love doing this show with you.
Love being in the same space as you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Much love, everyone.
Bye.